Welcome to Crawl or No Crawl. This is Carolyn Holzman. Today is November 19th. This is the project where I daily look at indexation results by publishing test pages with 2 test keywords. Why 2, you ask? One is in simple HTML to test for the first pass general rendering, and the second is wrapped in JavaScript to test for the second pass more complex rendering. Now this is, if I click over here, this is the Indexation Research Log, where dates, times of launch, findability, along with, updates that get announced, plus updates that I think are happening. And this is a free resource. You can find it on American Way Media's site, or you can search for Google Index Detector. It is the top result. Weekends are observation days. And so far this morning, it's been a couple of hours poking around, and I found some interesting things. So first off, some small rollbacks. If you don't know what these are, they are pages that previously were findable by their keywords, and then they become not findable by one or both of their keywords. Now this is normal, and I think it's far more common than we want to admit, and it happens a lot when Google is testing their latest Chrome build mobile bots. So for example, I have 2. November 9th test page, that was last week, and it's no longer findable by either one of its simple or JavaScript keywords. And November 4th is no longer findable by its simple keyword. Now, I note that here. I really think I'm going to start putting just the number of pages because it's hard to put 2 dates in these things. So I call them rollbacks because they roll in and they roll out. It's not testing as a content issue or content quality issue. And I really wish people would stop throwing that out when people say they're having not trouble finding their pages. Because I think if we called it what it is, we could really make some advances and not simply rehash old, dead ideas. So has any new content been indexed? If we go over here, this is what you would, like if you're got a few minutes, this is what you can do. You can see the most recent simple keyword tested on November 18th. So that was yesterday. And JavaScript, the most recent test page that tested was November 16th. So that's not to say there's 2 days between them, but I'm just saying in general, you can look more on details on the log, and also whether or not there are rendering bots. Now, the most recent remains, what I found yesterday. And what I found yesterday was the previous Friday's page. And I kind of, in yesterday's video, I sort of shared without any filters about my thoughts as to why some pages take longer to be findable than others. They're not findable in order, right? Monday's test page was found on the 16th, and the previous Friday's test page was found on the 18th, 2 days after they had found the Mondays. So rather than continue that rant there, I'll put the link in the description. But my question was, why did they not become findable in order? Why did they flip-flop in a way? When you look in Search Console, they're called indexed in Search Console in order, but they don't become served in order. And that's why I don't think we have an indexing issue this time of year. Rather, I think we have, or Google has, a serving problem. The serving system, which is the last process in the indexation system as a whole, we don't know enough about that system, except that it really kills us this time of year if we can't get our content findable. So my next question is, have we always had a serving system issue in Q4? And we don't really know, simply because that was early on in my testing last year. So I couldn't get any content indexed. So it's hard to find out when it rolls in and rolls out if you can't get any of it indexed. But we found out why, okay? It wasn't the quality of my content. It was how I asked Google to index. So let's look at the bots. Going over here. So Still seeing the tag teaming here between the two mobile bots. The blue columns, those are the mobile Google bots that come. The thing that changes is their Chrome build. And so 19 and 17 are doing their dance. 19 crawls the HTML and 17 goes back and does a full render and a full render discovery. So it's like full render discovery and a full render refresh, let's put it that way. So it depends on if you're launching or watching new content or updating existing. Now overall we're looking at a lower amount of bot activity, decent crawling, but less render activity. And here's what happens. The desktop ones are usually the ones that do the refresh rendering. So it kind of looks like a solid fail for right now. And I have access to several massively large nationwide sites. And it's a ridiculous size of a server log. And in those tens of thousands of records, as recently as yesterday, 0 desktop Chrome bots. So don't be fooled by thinking like, oh, that's because you just didn't see large enough server log. Yeah, I have. They're not there. So if you're pushing out new content or your page disappears, your traffic drops, by the time you check your page, you don't really know that they were being served during that time. So maybe that's some explanation. Search Console, only shows you the indexed information. So I actually use fake keywords even in my real work, but because without them, there's no real way to know for sure if those pages are being served. Now, most people follow the general tracking in Search Console, and they look at the overall of their entire site. And I understand why, but I suggest if you have high-valued money pages, isolate your pages and your performance reports and eyeball them, okay? Because sometimes you will see things you do not expect to see in there. That little orange thing that tracks where it was sometimes goes away from being a solid line and it starts looking dotty. And when that looks dotty, I think it's a serving issue, not a you issue necessarily. It could be. But if everything else is on point, that might be the issue. Are you following me? Okay. Well, stay tuned. Subscribe. Post your comments and observations in the comments below. Also, if you like SEO podcasts, you might want to check out Confessions of an SEO. Those are released every Friday, and in that I talk a little bit more about SEO. Not so much in a tactical way, although I do sometimes sneak a few things in, but it's just really more my life as an SEO. So if you like that, check that out. And the Forensic SEO training starts January 19th, which is a Thursday. If you're interested in getting a heads up, go to forensicseotraining.com and use the form to get on the early bird list. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.